Welcome back. We are still with Nikki, a survivor of domestic violence. She was in an abusive relationship for 7 years, and we are still continuing with her story. Nikki, now after all this abuse, it was ongoing, repetitive. What made you stay? What made you stay in that relationship after everything that this man had put you through?
Well, there's quite a few things. One of the biggest reasons probably that I had nowhere else to go to. I could not go back to my mom because substance abuse and alcohol abuse and verbal and physical abuse was one of the main factors, you know, in my mom's home. I had nowhere to go. You know, it's not like I could just pick up my bags and I could just leave and know that this man is not going to come after me, especially knowing that I've just given birth to his first child. So, and I've always known that even though the abuse was as bad as it was, he always made it a point for me to know and understand that there is no way that I am going to take his son away from him. In fact, both the children away from him. So
no getting out.
There was no getting out. Also, you know when you believe something and everyone else around you believes the opposite. So if you're saying that I know this thing is black, but especially your family, your parents, your siblings are telling you, no, it's not black, it's white. You know, so
you start to question.
You start to question
yourself and what you believe in and what you think.
Absolutely, and also I've spoken to other women that has been in abusive relationships, and there's one thing that we all can agree upon. An abuser will always make you believe that you are the reason they're abusing you. So that was already in my mind. It was imprinted so deep in my mind. I truly believed that I'm the one that needed to change.
That you were actually pushing him to hitting you.
Because after every beating, look at what you made me done. You know, look at what you made me done, and it is your fault. It's because you did not cook the right food, you did not listen, you did not answer the phone. You know,
it's like he's brainwashing you.
And you start believing it. You believe it. As a victim, you believe it.
So you don't even see the need to get out because it's your fault. You need to stay and fix it and make it work.
Yes, especially again when the people that are supposed to protect you and be in your corner are the people that are siding with this man. You know, it is, what did you do? Like, it's a case of, Mom, look at what he done again. What did you do? It's not about him, it's what you've done. You've done something wrong, and you know, this is a good man, and you're going to mess up this relationship. And here I am, where can I go? I cannot even go to my brother and say, don't you know of a little rental place that I could maybe just rent, or a little flat, or can you maybe take me away, help me? But your brothers, well, both of my brothers at that time were close friends with him, and they would do all the things together, and my abuser was the one with the money, so my brothers were unemployed at the time, so they were...
He was also now financially supporting your family. So for them to now side with you, then they were going to lose out on that. So it wasn't about you, they made it about them and what they can get out of that.
Out of that and out of him. You know, I'm sure that every time that he would complain to them about something that I done, they would probably agree with him, because why would the friendship still be continuing? And also at that time, when just after I had my son, I was unemployed. I unfortunately had lost my job, so I was an unemployed mom, and now I have 2 children, and it's 2 children from 2 different men. And I also don't want people to label me, and everybody's already saying it's my fault. You know, I'm sure it must be my fault. If everyone can see it, why can't I?
You start doubting yourself.
I need to change this. I need to, you know.
To watch how I speak to him. I mustn't make him angry. I shouldn't talk back. So now you start questioning yourself. And I can imagine
leaving everyone else except for your own feelings. It's like you are in a constant struggle with yourself.
Yeah.
And nothing makes sense to you, because why would I feel that it is a certain way when everybody else is seeing it different?
It means I must be wrong.
It must be me. It must be me. So I just accepted that I was the one that needed to change.
And you're right, because every woman that has gone through what you're going through, they're saying the same thing. That, you know, he made me believe that it was me, that I was wrong. And this is so sad, because that's why we have women that die with this, because there's no one who's supporting them. They can't go to anyone, because this, like you're saying with your family, they'll tell them, no, stay, because of circumstances which are financial, coming from your background. And a lot of women go through that as well, where it's hard for them to voice out, you know, what their feelings, or share what they're going through out of fear also. And now they stay in this relationship, they stay silent until it's too late. Now, Nikki, just there might be women that are watching the show that are in abusive relationships already. What can you say to them? What should they do? I mean, you were there, you are out of it, thank God you survived it. Now looking back, you know, maybe you can help someone who's in it to say, you know, this is what you need to do. Just do 1, 2, and 3, save your life, because it can end up differently from you. So what would you say to that woman right now, watching the show, watching you, listening to your story, and saying, I am there right now, what do I do?
You know, Anna, first and foremost, I would like to start by saying that walking out of that relationship is not the end of the world. It's an end to a chapter. You write your own story and make sure that it ends well. You know, it has a happy ending. Back then, there were no women shelters that I could go to. Back then, there was no women against women abuse and all of that. You know, back then, so many years ago, you were basically, if you had to complain or people had to see that you were living that life, you were stigmatized. You know, everybody pointed a finger and, oh, look at her, and, you know. And so you wouldn't even dare speaking to somebody else, you know, you wouldn't even dare finding someone that has also gone through the same thing.
Because they also don't want to be known.
Involved. Exactly. So if I could give any woman advice today, it took me 7 years, and I have made it by the grace of God.
Amen. Just by the grace.
You might not even make it for 7 days. So while you can, while you still have a voice, while you still have ink in your pen, write your story. Not his story, not their story. You write your story and you make sure that it has a happy ending. And that is all that I can say to young girls out there. There's lots of places they can go to. There's lots of organizations. There's, you know, you go onto the internet and you'll find help. You know, so yes, today, I mean, I'm not using my unemployment as an excuse, but even if you are that girl today and you don't have a job and you've already got 6 children, nobody gives him the right to make you feel degraded, and
He owns you.
Exactly. So today there's so much to do, but just don't stay because of love. Unfortunately, you know, love is the greatest thing of all. You know, God is love, you know, but this kind of love is not love. Don't let him manipulate you by telling you, but I love you. Or do never ever believe that it is your fault, because it doesn't matter what you do. No man has the right to do that to another human being.
And I suppose you should put yourself first.
Absolutely.
Think about yourself first, because I think also women that are scared of getting out of it, it's like, what are people going to say?
Exactly.
Because a lot of times maybe they pretend to be happy outside, but then when they get home, the beating starts. But they don't want people to know about that life, because now they're portraying this perfect, loving, relationship, and now coming out and saying, I'm actually being beaten at home. I think people also feel that, what are people going to say? They're going to laugh at me and all that. So the most important thing is to just put yourself first.
Absolutely.
Now, to those who are just getting into relationships, or they want to start dating or getting into a serious relationship, what are the signs? What should they look out for? What are those red flags? What is it that should be an alarming factor when they see it happen? What would you say those red flags are?
Men who drink in general, I'm not saying that every person that drinks has a bad side to them, but you must look out for that. How much alcohol does this person actually consume? What kind of person does he turn into? Because some people actually become warm, friendly, jokey,
Yes, they react differently.
So I would say, even after that relationship, I never ever wanted to date another man that even took an occasional drink. I am so totally against it, because for me that was just not, especially if you are not that type of person. You as a woman, you're not that type of person then. And one thing that I can say, a man with low self-esteem,
insecure,
yes, oh absolutely. A man that wants to control you, everything that you do, he tells
what your whereabouts,
where to go, who's your friends, he wants to know where you are every minute of the day. Those are all the signs. And also when because there's arguments and disagreements in every relationship, but when you get into those arguments, watch the tone of his voice, how he speaks to you. That in itself also, because abuse is not always physical. You get emotional abuse, you get sexual abuse, there's spiritual abuse, you get all sorts of abuse. And then also in the first couple of weeks, maybe say 2, 3, 4 months, of dating, everything will be rosy. But never ever take your eye off the ball. This man, if you let him into your life, and that this is what a gentleman should be, this is the kind of man that I want to have in my life, never ever take your eye off it. And when little things start happening, don't ignore it. Speak about it. And also, girls, do not go to another single friend and speak to a friend, and rather if your relationship gets to that stage of you guys are becoming serious now, you guys are speaking of engaged, or you're already engaged, go and speak to your pastor, speak to your pastor's wife, go and speak to people who are in happy marriages, who has been in happy marriages for
people that can pray for you.
Absolutely.
And pray with you.
Oh, absolutely. And those are the people that are going to guide you. Those are the people that are, but do not go and confide in a friend that's going to go and tell auntie so and so and this one and that one. And especially if that friend is not in a loving, God-fearing relationship, do not go and seek advice and help from someone that don't know. If you honestly don't know who to speak to, go on your knees.
God.
Speak to him, because he is not like man. He's not going to change your mind. His mind. He's not going to go around and tell everyone your story. You can speak to him. Call upon the name of the Father, because first and foremost, he is the only one that can guide you into the right direction.
Because what we do as women, we actually don't seek the face of God and what he has to say about our relationships until it is too late. Then now we start to ask him, or we do everything else, and then God is like the last option, whereas you should start with him, and then that's where you're going to get the answer, that's where you're going to get the solution. And how important was prayer in what you were going through?
You know, and funny enough, I was not a born-again Christian, but I knew that there was a God, and I knew that there was a God that can change my life, that can touch my life, that can touch my relationship and protect my children. So I was on my knees night and day. Every opportunity God would give me, I would go on my knees and I would ask him for guidance. And I strongly believe that had that not been the case in my life, if I had to, instead of staying on my knees, decided I'm also going to have a drink, I would not have made it. I look at myself today and I can give God all the glory, because there are so many women who has been in a situation for a week and they do not live to tell about it today. So I give God all the honor, I give God all the praise, and also the fact that I did not go from one abusive relationship into another abusive relationship, because that is normally what you do. That is the pattern. So I really thank God. Prayer was the one thing that brought me through, and not only through that part of my life, throughout my life, prayer was the most important thing to me, and still is
till this day.
Absolutely.
Pray without ceasing. And now you're in a relationship, you're married.
I've been happily married to my Prince Charming for 6 years. We've dated 1 year, and so he's been a part of my life for 7 years. And I give God all the glory, the honor, and the praise that I've got a man that serves God. He's my strength. When I met him, I told him that he's my lifeline.
Sure.
Because I was at such a low point in my life, and here this man comes, and this is the man. There was a time in my life where I couldn't even pray. I didn't have the words, and I would write letters to God, and everything that I wrote about is what God blessed me with.
Yes.
So this man was my lifeline, and honestly, had God not thrown me that lifeline,
Because he says, ask and you will receive, and you asked him, and you were precise in what you wanted now in a man. And because he's such a good God, he restores and he knows how to wipe away your tears.
Yes, absolutely.
Nikki Damepies, thank you so much. We bless God for you.
Thank you.
The fact that you are here sharing this story, it can only be God.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. I know it wasn't easy.
Thank you for having me here.
But we need to share stories to help someone else who might be going through it. Thank you so much. And to you at home, if you're watching this, you are in an abusive relationship, I just want to tell you that God made you in His image. God loves you. You do not have to stay in something that is not good for you, because He says He knows the plans. He says, I know the plans that I have for you. Plans to prosper you, to give you a future and hope, not plans of sorrow. So God only wants the best for you, only good things, only good plans. So if you're in something or in a relationship that is not pleasing to God, it's not good, then it's not from God. There is still hope. There is still a chance. Get help. Seek help. Most importantly, seek the face of God. Amen. Hear the voice of God. Yes. You know, seek His seek His will for your life, because He knows best. He has the master plan, for He is our God and He loves us. It's not too late. You deserve only the best. Thank you so much to you viewers at home. I will see you next week, same time. I'm Anna Nwambua.